Hi there, and welcome to second season. This is the first episode of the year, and it's going to be exciting. We're going to learn a lot. Today's episode is going to be on gauges. Ford GT gauges, in fact. Let's get started. Okay, we're in the Ford GT 2006 Heritage Edition. And we're looking at the instrument panel here. As you can see, this is all analog. And that's appropriate, seeing that this car was built in celebration of the GT40 in the 60s and the winning of Le Mans. Even down to the dashboard even had toggle switches, which were actually invented back in the 1800s. They're in this car. Now, in front of the driver, you've got the most important instruments, especially for racing. You know, you've got your tach, which is so important because you have to make sure you don't blow your engine up. Nowadays, technology has limiters on it, and you don't really have to worry about it as much. But back then, you certainly did. And then you've got your oil temperature and you got your oil pressure. Now, I remember back in the 60s, you know, J.C. Whitney catalog, I ordered a oil pressure gauge. Everybody had to have an oil pressure gauge because it was too cool not to have one. So this car has three most important gauges that you look at when you're racing. Now, if you look across here, you've got maybe voltage meter. Oh, and you look at all those toggles. If you love toggles and gauges, this is a car for you. And you've got your voltmeter, and you've got your vacuum on boost for your supercharger and your fuel gauge, which you weren't that concerned with that much, but you know, it's up to the pit crew to make sure there's fuel in your car. So let's go back here and look at this again real quick. Okay, so this is technically a road car. Now, with all those gauges we saw, there was something missing for a road car. Let's take a look here. We've got engine, we've got tach, we've got oil pressure, we've got voltmeter, we've got, you know, vacuum, and we got, oh, look, I missed one. What is that back in there? Oh, a speedometer. Now, that's important for a road car because you have to drive at posted speed limits. So there has to be in the car. Now, why do they stick it way over there on the right side? I mean, these are what's important. So why do they stick it over there? Let me explain to you. There's some history behind this. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so this car is all about its heritage, the winning of Le Mans in the 1960s. Now, if we're talking about its heritage, we can't leave out Carroll Shelby. Carroll Shelby was hired by Ford to win Le Mans. Now, even before that, Carroll Shelby raced Cobras in the sports car championships, and he would win. But there was a season where, you know, the FIA is always changing its rules, and there was quite a bit of conflict going on back and forth back in those days. And they came up to Carroll Shelby, and he goes, hey, you know, your car does not have a speedometer. This is a sports car, and the FIA requires that you have a speedometer in this car. So he goes, he argued about it and so forth. So he decided to stick a speedometer in it. Let me show you where they stuck the speedometer. Way over here in the right. And that passed. Yep. Goes up. It has a speedometer. It's right there. Okay, that passes. Okay, so you can see now, you know, that carried on into the GT40 design when he was building it. They stuck the speedometer way off the side because that's not important to driving the car and winning the race. And that's why the speedometer is stuck way out in right field, is because of Carroll Shelby and the whole FIA requirements back in his racing season of the early 60s. So that's how it got there. And it's carried through because This car is in celebration of Ford's 100th anniversary and a celebration of winning Le Mans. So they brought over as much heritage into this car as they possibly could to remind us always of winning Ferrari 3 years in a row. See you later.